Okay, so this is the area of concentration for paper one theory, types and components of the computer system, networks and effects of using them, and the system lifecycle. So this is what we are going to be looking at. And we're going to be using these past papers right here. I have February, March 2024. I have October, November 2023, which is variant 11. I have October, November 2023, which is variant 12. And finally, I have October, November 2023, which is variant 13. So we're going to be doing a deep dive. We're going to be doing a deep dive on these particular papers so that as we prepare ourselves, we're good to go, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let's begin. So I'm going to start with, okay, I'm just going to move from this and then I'll move here, right? So I'm going to be very selective, looking at only those questions that relates to what we have to talk about, right? Only those questions that relates to what we have to talk about. All right. So again, we're looking at topics that relates to this right here, types and computer systems, networks, which is chapter 4, networks and effects using them, and chapter 7, the systems lifecycle. And there's a Kahoot for it, right? And I will be dropping the links for the Kahoot chapter 1, chapter 4, chapter 7. So just go back and just refresh your memories again. That will be fun. And then adding with this video, I think that would actually put the pieces together. So I think I can move it back here. Okay, so let's get down to work because of time. Okay, I have a center number. I'm just going to use generic one. Okay. So let me scroll down. So a computer system consists of both hardware and software. Explain what the following types of software provide in a computer system. This literally like chapter 1, literally from the textbook, right? So we'll talk about the types of software provided in a computer. We have application and we have system software. So now the question is, what is an application software? Now we'll talk about application software. The first thing we have to look at is that it provides. I think I'm talking and writing together. So the first thing, 2 marks, just 1 point for each of them, right? So provides, okay, the services the user requires, okay, to solve. Yes, Monica, go ahead. To solve what?
First question.
A given task. Pardon? Please go ahead with the question again.
Have you solved the first question?
No, we are, this one right here, storage state, solid state storage media is chapter 3. It's not part of our AOC. Again, this is what we are working with for your exam, right? Chapter 1, chapter 4, chapter 7. So we're looking at topics, questions that are tailored to only these chapters. I don't want to solve anything that goes beyond your AOC, right? So this is very, very important. Okay. So that's why we are focused on this. The next one is System software. What's the system software? And if you're wondering, it's right here on the textbook, right? Application software, you see it right here, right? To solve a given task. And then for software, it's the general term for programs, right? That's software. General terms. That's the first one, general terms for programs. Also, we can see it as providing a link between the user and the software, whichever one you want to talk about. It also provides the service that the computer requires to operate. So all these are very, very important. So you can see that it's the general term used for programs that controls what the computer system. It also processes data. So here we can put down that it is general term for programs. Okay, so we can see that as a general term for programs. Okay, if you were looking for another point, we could say it is used to control, okay, control the computer. It can also be used to process what? The data. Okay, so let's go ahead. Give two examples of each type of software. Okay, so we'll look at this. We'll look at the types, examples of each types of software. So let's look at the first one, application. We have a lot of them. We can keep going on and on. Let me just show you them, right? And then you can now look at them. These are the examples: word processing, spreadsheet, database management system, app and applets, video editing, graphic editing, audio editing, computer aided design. So I'm just going to pick two, right? So I have word processing and I have presentations. Okay, that's also a software. Audio editing, video editing, graphics editing. So they're all there. Okay, system. So we'll talk about examples for system. You can see it right here. So for system, we have compilers, linkers, device drivers, operating system, utilities. Okay, so I'm just going to pick two: operating system. Okay, I'm just going to pick another one: compilers. Okay, so it's very, very important. When we talk about operating system, they are essentially software running in the background. That's what they are. Running in the background of a computer system, right? And they are the first software that's been installed, right? So it simply means that without the operating system, most computer will be user friendly, right? Yes, they will not be user friendly. Okay, and of course, it's impossible to do work with computer on a day-to-day basis. So essentially, operating system, what it does is to allow input and output, error handling, managing the security as much as possible. This is right here is a Windows operating system. Okay, it's a Windows operating system. Okay, then compilers. What compiler does is more or less a program that translates program written in high-level language into a language the computer can understand, which is what machine language. So it's going to compile everything and translate it into what the machine language, okay, so that it can be used to directly perform a task. Okay, remember in your knowledge of computer science, okay, we have the source code, which is the original program, and then we have the object code, which is the compilation of the final program. Okay. Okay, the next one is, okay, there are two forms of data, analog and digital. We are to construct analog and digital. Let's do that. Let's look at what is analog. That's the first thing. Let's look at what is analog. And this is something you still see in chapter 1, right here. Okay, so you can see that for digital computers, computers can only understand data which is what is in what binary form, right? So if we're simply saying that for digital, they're discrete, right? And they're discrete because it can only process in binary. Hope that makes sense. It can only process in binary. But for analog, okay, analog is in continuous form. Okay, analog is in continuous form, right? And we also see it as a waveform, okay, as a waveform. Please, this is very, very important. So it simply means that it also, for analog, it needs to be converted before it can be understood by the computer, okay? But for the digital, it doesn't need to be converted, right? For it to be understood by the computer. Hope that make sense, okay? Very important. Okay, so let me put down some points for writing's sake with all that I've said, so it can all make sense. So here I have construct simply means difference, keyword, right? So for analog, what do I have? With all that I've said, analog is what? It's continuous. Why is it continuous? You can see that it's in waveform. Can you see? Right? It's in waveform. So it more or less process data in real world. Okay? And it's a physical data that changes smoothly from one value to the next. It is not discrete like this. This is digital, right? But for analog, it is in a wave form. Okay? So the waveform. Okay. How many marks is this? 4 marks. So that's 2, 2. Okay. For digital, what do I have for digital? Yes, go ahead.
Can you also write like it's presented in waveform instead of just waveform?
Okay, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's discrete. Um, it also it can be processed. Okay, can be processed by the computer without conversion. Of course, we know that this needs to be converted to be processed. So that gives you a point. So it needs to be converted to be processed by a computer. Yes, I will do that. I'll send it to the Google Classroom. Yes. Okay. So let's move on.
Excuse me, Mr. Adriel, what was the last word for the second
By
point of digital data? Like
can
the
be
last word.
processed. That's conversion without conversion. Sorry.
Okay.
Yes, let me type it again. It's been a while since I wrote anything. It's just been particles, particles. So, okay. Okay. Because of time, I'm only go through some important points and just breeze through the rest. Okay, let's see. Okay. A doctor uses a gesture-based user interface. Pardon? Yes, yes, because of time. I'm just looking at the important points. Okay. So a doctor uses a gesture-based user interface. Okay. States two other types of user interface. Now, if you remember, chapter 1, types of computer system, we have 4 types, right? So just a quick one, Joy, can you help me with the first one? Joy, can you help me with the first one? Okay, so Emily wants to take a spin at it. Please go ahead, Emily.
A voice user interface.
Okay, you said voice user interface. That seems you yeah, kind of, but there's a name for it. Yes.
Mr. Age,
Yeah, I can hear you now, Emily. Yeah, go
sorry,
ahead.
that's not to answer the question. I wanted to say, so the question number 4, is it like not important like that?
Yes, it is, but because of time, we're just looking at very key questions, right? Just going through
Okay.
key questions, yes. So that will also help you in your studies. Yes, Shemile, go ahead. Shemile, please go ahead. Yes, the first one as well.
There is command user interface.
Okay, the command line. Okay, known as the CLI.
And
Mhm.
there's the graphic user interface.
Okay, the graphical user. We already have interface, right? So that's your GUI. Okay, so hope that makes sense, right? All right, that's good. So we have another one. That's dialogue. The one Joe was talking about that talks about voice is dialogue, right? Okay, so I think I might
Later,
just
what are
have to
the
do.
types that you named?
So okay, the one I talked about is what is it? The command line interface, graphical user interface, the dialogue based interface, right? Okay. So you see them here, right here. We call them user interface. Look at it right here. So we have the dialog-based user interface, gesture-based user interface, graphical user interface, and command line interface, right? I'm just going to look for, just glance through and see what I'm looking for.
Sorry, Nimi is raising it.
Yes, Nimi, go ahead. Okay, let me just work with this for now.
Hello,
Just
Mr.
go ahead.
Lecturer. I just
Cheers.
wanted to ask, what are the differences between the 4 types of user interfaces?
Okay, so for the GUI, it makes what we call a Win technology, Windows icon menu and pointing device. Okay, while for your command line, you make use of commands to interact with the computer system. The dialog box, you make use of your voice, right? A good example is Amazon Alexa, Apple Siri, right? Microsoft Cortana, and then for your gesture, you use your hands, use of your body parts. to interact with the computer. That is as brief and summarized as it is, right?
All right.
Question
Thank
11.
you, sir.
Many people use desktop computers rather than tablet computers when working at home. Discuss advantage and disadvantage of using desktop computers rather than tablet computers for doing work at home. Now, we all know what's desktop computers, right? And tablet computers. It's very important that we have an idea of what the difference is, so we already know what it is, right? So when we talk about advantages and disadvantages, and this is more or less like a 6 marks question. So how do we go about it? So the question is advantage and disadvantage of using desktop. Priority on desktop rather than tablet. So let's look at the advantages here. Right, this is also chapter 1. So let's look at the advantages here and how we can tackle this. Okay, so I have advantage.
Mr. Adrian,
Please go ahead.
please, I wanted to ask what exactly are tablet computers? I know what desktop computers are, but I want to ask what exactly are tablet computers?
Tablet computers are more or less mobile computers. Let's start with the fact that they are mobile computers. Okay, and secondly, they are part of the touchscreen technology. Okay, so these are key points that would help you when you're making your points on trying to understand what a tablet computer is. Very important. And again, when we're talking about certain features of the tablet computer, they have what we call the keyboard for the tablet is virtual. Okay, it's virtual. And of course, it is part of the touchscreen, and the keys are simply activated by just touching, right, the screen or by using any form of stylus. Okay. In terms of internet access, it works with 3G, 4G, and 5G. It has series of sensors. Those series of sensors, which includes your camera, your microphone, your touchscreen. Okay. They are typically identical to the smartphone, but the difference is the size. Okay. For tablet, it's over 7 inch and above. Okay. So you can see that when I'm breaking down the tablet, being specific on their characteristics, the makeup of tablet. Okay. And being specific on the makeup of tablets. Very important. And it's something we know. All right. It's something we know. Okay, let me probably give you a good illustration of what we mean by tablet. And I'm going to talk about trust me, this is not um, this is not an advert, so I'm not doing any advert for any organization, but I just want to show you the new iPad Pro 11. Trust me, it is what they say, a work of art. Don't we just love? Okay, right. So this is more or less something on what it is, right? Let me just get it and just show you so it doesn't so you can actually see what I'm talking about. Yep. Okay. Okay, so this is it right here. Yes. So this is a good example of a tablet. So this is the iPad Pro 11. Okay, so this is a good example of what we call an iPad. And it's not just that alone, right? Even the Microsoft, they do have a tablet. Okay, so I'm not just leaving them alone. So they do have one. And it's called the Microsoft Surface Pro 11. Yes, that's the recent one from that. Just want to show you what it is so you see how it looks like. Okay, probably let me just do this and just bring it here, and then you can actually see what it looks like. So this is another tablet, right? So, but now the emphasis here is pointing you towards the desktop computers, which we know what it is, right? So if you're talking about desktop computers, I just want to make it more visual so you can have an idea of what a desktop computer looks like. So this is what a desktop computer looks like. Okay, so this is what desktop, so now we now know what a desktop computer looks like. So this is what it looks like, right? All right. Okay, so let's go ahead. So let's look at the advantages of the desktop computers. Now, so for the advantage of using it at home, so what is the first advantage? Let's talk about, you've seen desktop computers. What's the first thing you observe about desktop computers? And we also have it on the textbook. So it's not like, as types of computers, it's not like I'm saying something far-fetched from the truth. So we also have it in the textbook. So what's the first thing you observe when you look at this? Notice that all the peripherals are separate. What are peripherals? They are external attachments. They are attachments to the computers. They are outside of it. So you can see that the system unit is separate, the keyboard is separate, the mouse is separate. Okay, so that gives us a very, very good. So here we can see that all the peripherals are separate. Therefore, easier to what? To customize. Gamers will know what I'm talking about. Okay, to users' need. Okay, you probably notice that most gamers, they prefer using the desktop computer because we can actually customize it to give us the more graphical processing power. I think please go ahead.
So,
Yes, you want to add something to it?
yes. No. It's Emily. So I can't see what you wrote. All the peripherals are
Are
separated.
separate, therefore, are
I mean, are
separate,
separate.
therefore easier to customize to user needs, right?
Okay, thank
So
you.
we have the class being recorded, so you can always you go back to it. It will be uploaded the moment the class is over. Okay, so again, all the peripherals, I think I'll take my time. Okay, are separate, and because they are separate, right? Therefore, it is what easier to what repair. See that now? Okay, so if any of the components is bad, we can actually repair them. Okay, we can actually repair them. Now, comparing this to tablet, which one has a larger screen? The desktop. See that now? Okay, so desktop has a larger screen, makes it what? Has a larger screen, which makes it easier. Remember, let's look at it. Do we have this? Look at it. I said most people use desktop computer rather than tablet when working at home. Okay, so they're using to work at home, so it's easier to what? To read. And what are they
So I
reading?
also say it's I'm so sorry, sir. Can you also say
Well,
it makes it easier to impute data?
make it easier to impute data. To create documents. Who's that? Is that who said that?
Ume.
Ian, is that you? Also, Kome. That was Kome, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now she said
So
it makes it
Yemi
easier.
has his hand raised.
Yeah, let me go ahead. Yes, go ahead, Dewey.
So I wanted to ask if you could also say that the desktop has a larger screen, so it reduces eye strain.
No, having a larger screen does not reduce the eye strain. You need to have an anti-glare, right? An anti-glare that would also help to reduce. Pardon, you said what? So let's put down what Kome said. She said something very important. She said, what is easier to impute in a desktop than a tablet? Remember, for tablets, they don't have a physical keyboard, right? It's virtual. And between a physical keyboard and a virtual, physical keyboard wins any day, anytime. So, okay, so that is very, very important. So it has a physical keyboard, which makes it easy to enter data. Okay. All right, let's talk about disadvantages. So disadvantages here would be, okay, between tablets and desktop, which is more easier to move around. If you say desktop, then probably I will have to run away because you cannot say, okay, let me move my desktop to school, let me move my desktop to the house, and we'll start praying for you. Okay, we'll start praying for you for the strength of something. Okay, so you can see that it's difficult with the desktop computer. It is difficult. Okay, difficult to move around. Okay, difficult to move around. And again, very, very important for desktop, right? They are connected. So that can lead to what we call a trailing or a safety issue. What do I mean? Something you learn in chapter 8 under the physical safety, tripping hazard. It can lead to tripping hazard where there are wires on the floor connected, right? I'm using a laptop and a desktop. So you can see that there are wires all around. Okay, so that can lead to trailing. So it has trailing leads. Therefore, can be a safety issue.
A trailing leads.
Yes, trailing leads. Yes. Trailing. It's an I here. Okay. Okay.
What does it mean?
Is that
What does it mean?
it simply means that for desktop computers, we have them connected, right? We have a desktop computers connected, and because of the wires, right, in the computer room or at home, people can just walk on it, not knowing that there's wires on the floor, and they can trip, right? It can lead to a tripping hazard in such a people can fall. That's what we're simply saying. People can fall because There are wires connected to it, which can lead to safety issues. I don't know if I'm making sense. Right? So, yes. Okay. And come on, this should be obvious now. Another disadvantage. Now, if there's a power outage between a desktop and a tablet, what happens? If you're that's why if you're a gamer, you need to have what we call a UPS, uninterrupted, right? That can last you for at least 1 hour, right? Because if you don't have those things and you're playing a game or you're working at home, let's restrict it to work, right? You're working at home, okay? And there's a power outage, what happens? The desktop goes off, okay? And pray it has autosave, else you have to start again. Okay, you have to start again. So if there's a power outage, if there is a power outage, okay, the unit will what? Lose power instantly. It's not going to notify you instantly. Okay, so yes, that's very important for everyone to know. Okay, so let's look at the next one. Okay, states two input device that can be used in a desktop for working at home. Two devices that can be used in a desktop for working at home. So I'm just going to also yes, wait, Ursula, please go ahead. So what are give me one. Yes, somebody on. Okay, wait, Ursula, please go ahead. Yes. I didn't really get what she said. I said maybe somebody got that for me.
Keyboard.
Keyboard, good keyboard, right? Keyboard. Yes, Kobe. Yes,
Mouse.
mouse. It's very important. Yes, Joy. You want to say something? You want to add something to this, Joy?
So Paris is
Yeah, Joy said what? Yeah, over. Give me a minute. Joy said what?
Add something to what?
I didn't get what she said. Somebody get that?
No, she's cracking me.
Microphone.
Microphone. Yeah, yeah, microphone. Okay, so you can add microphone. I know it's a 2-mark question with 2 points, but Oba, please go ahead. Oba, I want to add to it. Please go ahead, Oba.
What about drawing tablets like our math teacher used?
Okay, we're talking about desktop. That's really, it will work perfectly for tablet, not really for desktop. Mm.
Sorry,
Somebody has a
Yes, Emily, go ahead.
like architecting started. Maybe.
Yes. Emily, go ahead. Yes, I'm not getting, you said what?
I said, what about touch screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Touchscreen will work, right? Touchscreen, because there's some desktop that are touch screens. Yes, Chuladimi, you okay? I think it's on this. Okay, it's fine. So let's go. Because of time, let's move forward to the next one. Right, there's enough question for everybody to go up. After to go up, right? State two API device that can be used in a desktop computer for working at home. So I'm just going to call Sochi. Yes. Yes, Sochi, go ahead. Output.
Um, um, the screen itself.
Which is monitor. Okay. All right. Yes, Adinka.
Speaker.
Speakers. Okay, speaker. Yes, Ethan. Go ahead. Ethan, your hand is raised. Go ahead. I didn't really get what Ethan said. All right. Bernadette, you want to say something to this? Bernadette, you want to add to it? Yes, Bernadette, you want to add something to this?
So Animi raised his hand.
Okay, yeah. Chulami, go ahead.
A printer.
Yeah, right. The printer. All right. Okay, so let's move forward because of time. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, I think, do we have one more here that we can actually look at in this?
Mr. Adrian, for the
Yes, I can.
output devices, I wanted to ask if you also accept projector.
Yes, of course. Projector. Perfect. Okay. Augmented reality can be used with a global positioning system, GPS devices. Now we're talking about extended realities. Okay, your virtual realities. We have mixed realities and augmented realities. Okay, let's put it this way. If you've been using Snapchat, you've probably seen a similitude of what we mean by augmented reality. It's something nothing really new, really. So let's talk about now they said with a global positioning system device. Now we're being asked to state two uses of augmented reality. Quickly, what's augmented reality? And I will show you from the textbook, and then you can actually see for yourself what we mean by augmented reality. So now when we talk about the augmented reality right here, okay, so it allows users to be able to experience what the digital world and the physical world. For example, special effects you use, and I use Snapchat for example because these are devices you can be able to experience this with a smartphone. Okay, so where you can have these avatars and you can place them in front of you and it tries to take over. You can try to be maybe a doll or something. You get the idea. Okay, so user can be able to experience the augmented reality using smartphones, right? So invariably for augmented reality, the user is not isolated from the real world, but you are still able to just interact with it as much as possible. Unlike the virtual reality that takes you to what we call an Unreal Engine, right? Unreal, right? To a world of fantasy. It is not real. Okay, it is not real. Okay, so now we have a scope of what we mean by this. So let's look at what they can be used for. So states two other uses for the augmented reality. So the first thing I can think about is they can be used in gaming, right? They can be used in gaming. We talked about Snap.
So could
We
you
talked
also use it in video editing?
video editing. There is no limit to what augmented reality cannot achieve. But we're talking about more or less what has been tried and tested. So we're going to go with let's start with let's stick with Snapchat, right? So if I'm going to talk about Snapchat, how do I bring it in? Because obviously we're not allowed to talk about applications like Snapchat, Facebook, because we don't have the license to talk about them. Okay, so I can say layering features.
What about entertainment?
Yeah, entertainment. Yes, entertainment. We'll find a way to talk about it. So layering features in social media. Okay, in social media. Okay. In terms of education, we can use it for immersive learning. We can also use it for controlling devices. Okay, as much as possible. Yes, Oba, you want to add something to it? Go ahead.
What about showcasing diagrams, like looking at the human body and stuff like that?
Perfect. So in fact, I'm just going to put that one. So we have the augmented reality glasses in healthcare. So we use compact words, all these things so that they don't sue Cambridge, so we have to be careful. Okay, so we use compound words. Okay, for buildings, it can be used for buildings. It can be as the pointing devices at the building as much as possible. Okay, the next one. Describe the difference between augmented reality and virtual reality. I think we've just said it, but how do we put it in points? So let's stick with the first one. AR, which yes, go ahead.
For the previous question, I wanted to ask if education could also be an answer.
Yes, so for education, we call it, right, immersive. A certain area for immersive learning. Okay, so the difference here is the augmented reality uses a real world setting. Okay, and we see this in social media now, even TikTok, right? We see it in TikTok, and in fact, all the
AI or
comedians,
AR?
AR, right? Augmented reality. And we see this in TikTok and Snapchat where people use all these filters, right? And they try to be funny and they use something else. Maybe they try to paint their face and it's not actually them, but it's a real world setting. But they add this layering on them. I'm very sure most of you have done that in your Snapchat, in your TikTok, etc., right? Okay. So, but for the virtual reality, okay, right? So we're looking by difference. So whereas the virtual reality only enhances a fictional. I use the word fictional because it's not real. So it uses a fictional word reality. Another point, AR, please, it's important for you to write it in full, right? Okay. So AR, but AR is also seen as augmented reality, and then VR is also known as virtual reality. So the AR uses can be assessed with a smartphone. Okay, whereas the VR usually requires a headset device. So it has this virtual reality goggles, right? Okay. So we can now see in another point that the augmented reality enhances both worlds, both virtual and real, whereas the virtual reality enhances completely computer generated world. The games you play, they're virtual, right? And because of this, we can now create simulations in healthcare, in military, to carry out a lot of things. Okay. All right. I think we've explored all we need to explore. Let me see in this particular question. Let me check if anything else that we haven't covered that is specifically for your EUC. Okay, let's look at this. That is tailored towards okay. So here we have another one. A bridge and a router are examples of network devices. Yes, Joy, just a quick check. What other examples of network devices do we have?
Hub.
Hub, right? Hub, yes, David Ariyo. Yes. What are the examples? Joy said hub. What else?
Switch.
Okay. All right. Is that David Ariyo? That doesn't look twice.
Those this Yan.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. So let's talk about the difference between a bridge. I'm still going to call on David Ariyo. David Ariyo. So literally, just give me a literal explanation of what a bridge is. What do you think a bridge is? Let's move from there. What do you think a bridge is?
Something that joins two routers together, or a connection between two routers.
Okay, joins. So join is a very key word. So I'm going to work with that. Join, right? So when we talk about a bridge, what are we talking about? It joins two or more LANs. Take note, connects, right? Why join is important? In ICT, we use the right term, connects. So let's go with that. So here we have a bridge, right? So here we have a bridge connects two or more LANs. I'm not talking about land, right? Okay, I'm talking about the local area network. Okay, using same protocol. You have to forgive me for my writing. I promise. Okay, using what? Same protocol. All right. Another one, right? For router, we can say a router, right, allows data packets, okay, to be sent to what? It could be to a LAN, it could be to a WAN. Okay, and we'll talk about data packet. We'll talk about those data that are sent in the network, those chunks of data that are sent in a network. Okay, we can also see that routers connect. Okay, I think this would probably be an obvious one. A router connects a LAN to a WAN. Okay. All right. Let's look at another one. Just looking at some key things that would help us as we. Let's see. We have something here that we.
I'm not done writing the one you just did.
Okay. No worries. Since we have this recorded, I think that will be fine. Okay, so we have this. This question here. Let's see how we can answer this, right? The laptop computer also contains internal memory. State two examples of internal memory. Okay. Yes, two examples. Okay. Oyinko, please can you go ahead? So give me one.
Random access memory.
The random access memory. Yes, Sochi, your hand is raised.
The read-only memory.
Yes, read only memory. Thank you very much. They are literally just two, right? Okay. All right, so let's look at let's see, do we have any other one that we can okay, that's all that is okay, I think okay, for now, that's all this question has to offer us for now. Sticking to the EOC. We're just looking for anything and anything that will give us what we want.
Oyinkan is her hand.
Okay, so we have something here. D. Yes, Oivo, go ahead.
Have we done any questions on system lifecycle?
Good. You're about to. I was about to go there, right? So right after this one, the hotel uses both a LAN and a LAN, right? Talking about wide area network and wireless local area network. Describe the differences between. This is chapter 4, by the way, networks, right? And we have 3 types of network. I'm just going to call Joy. What do you think is missing here? We have 3 types of network. We have one, the wide area network, the wireless local area network, and what again? Joy.
Local area network.
Yeah, the local area network. The metropolitan area network is outside the scope of the syllabus. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the differences between the wide area network and the wireless local area network. Let's do that. Okay. So the first one is what? Now, when you see questions like this, the first thing you do, don't think too much, right? The first thing you have to do is, for this, you start with 1. The examiner will want to know what is 1 first. What's even 1? Let's start with that. 1 can mean anything. So, free mark. For a free mark, this can mean wide area network. Okay? And for wide area network, it uses what we call a satellite technology. Okay, let me show you where you can find it in the textbook. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. This is it, right here. Okay, just know this one. Let's look at it. This is it right here, right? So I use where networks are situated over a long distance from other geographically, right? So we can say that it's over a large geographical area. Okay, very important. So you can look at this, that because the long distance between devices, they make use of some public communication networks, such as what? Telephone lines or satellites. Okay, so they make use of what we call a satellite technology. Okay, tend to use satellite technology. Okay, they cover a large geographical what? Area. For the WLAN, let's look at what it means first. Wireless, local area network. Okay, and of course, what kind of technology would this make use of? Let's look at it together. So here you look at it. It makes of what we call what? Now these are the mix of with the mix of no wires or no cables. So they connect devices with no wires or cable. Rather, they provide what we call what's this? Wireless network communication. So they use a wireless network. Okay, and they make use of the radio signal infrared signals instead of cables. Your cables are your LAN. So we use devices called access points, right? And they are connected, take note, they are connected with a wired network at a fixed location, right? And so because of that limited range, what the access point does is within that particular range is able to feed network, right, to any device that is connected to. It's more or less like it's a bit different from your LAN where you have to use your Ethernet cable, your RJ45 now, register jack 45, that's what it means. To just plug into your Ethernet port, right, to connect to your network. So it simply means that only one device can go to one port. But with the access point, we can have fairly amount of devices connected within that range, right? So it's very, very important. Okay, so here we use this what? Wireless technology. Okay, I have 4 minutes. Where do we have something to work with? Okay, I think let's. Okay, let's work with this. This is really interesting. Chapter 7. So I have the set a teacher is setting up a school shop. The teacher is setting up a spreadsheet to keep account of the shop. This figure 3.1 shows a box containing 50 cocoa bars to sell in the shop. The information on the box will be entered on the spreadsheet. State the most appropriate display format in the spreadsheet for each piece of data shown on the box. Your answer must be different in each case. But you can answer already very some. So A. So Ika wants to answer A for us. So Ika, please go ahead. So for A, what do we have? So this is A.
Character.
So what for A? Character, you sure?
Yes.
Okay. So let's verify. Joy, what do you think? You think it's character?
Yes.
Why do I feel unease about the answer? I feel unease about it.
Oh.
So, are we all on board that it's character?
So Oba raised his hand.
Yes, Oba, go ahead.
Sir, is it alphanumeric?
Alphanumeric. Okay. Or what? Cocoa bars. How do we store the data type? We just the database. So cocoa bars. How do we store this? What data type are we going to use for?
So people have their hands.
Sir, can I?
Yes, Oiko, go ahead.
No, so I was
Is it
searching.
text?
Is that?
Is it text instead of character?
Okay. Sochi, what do you have to say? I think Oika has just given a different answer. Yes, Sochi, go ahead.
I was going to say text.
Okay, so we can work with text. Okay, for B, yes, B, Adinka, go ahead. B, what data type for B?
Number integer.
Good. Numeric. Like the way you put it, numeric integer. C. Who's going? Choluwanimi? Think his hand is raised for C. Go ahead, Choluwanimi.
Is it format?
For C, you talk about format check. That's validation, oh, not data type. You have gone to validation. Yes, Oba, your hand is raised up. Go ahead. Okay. Sochi, go ahead.
So is it dates or
Of course, remember date now, date or time. So now this will be what? Numeric what? Date. See that now? So this will be numeric. And this will be what? Date. So what about D? Iten. Your hand is raised. D. Help us. D.
Okay, sir. So numeric currency.
Good. Can see 3-4 marks. Just like that. All right. Let's look for another one exciting one that we can probably use to close. Okay, so we can use this to just close the class. A school has employed a system analyst to help update its computerized examination system. The system analyst researches the current system to see what will be required in the new system. State the method of researching the current system that I described. Remember, we started with analysis and we said in analyzing the current system or analyzing, what do we do? Because the first thing that happens is there's a need for an upgrade. There's a need for an upgrade. A system analysis is brought in, and there are certain processes that takes place. The first one is you research the current system, identification of input and output, what processes takes place, problem with the current system. You have user requirements. You have identification of hardware and software. We have information requirements. These are the things I want to be sure that I've given all the points, right? So where is it? You see it in chapter 7, system life cycle. Good, okay? So yes, okay, so I have it, right? So user requirement information and identification of hardware and software for the new system. So all these are very, but now we're talking about researching the current system. Now we have observation, questionnaires, interviews, and examination of the current system. Now I will test your knowledge into this. So I think your hand is raised up for the first question. That's good. Okay, so the system only researches the current system to see what will require in the new system. State the method of researching the current system that I described. So this is Fadenka talking to the network manager and examination officer about the current system. So what would this be, Adenka?
Interviews.
Interviews. See that now, interviews. Okay, watching the this will be for this will be for now I'm just gonna call, as I want to close the class, I just want to call random people who have not answered the question in my class. Literally, this is my last, right? It's our last online class. So I'm just gonna call on Kikike. Watching the user operating the current system, what will it be? Yes, Kikike, go ahead.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so give it a try. So out of the
Yeah,
four that we've
I'm
talked
still
about,
not sure.
out of the four we've talked about, interviews, observation, questionnaires, looking or examination of existing document, what will it be? Okay, she's still not sure. All right, so I'm going to call on Moyo. Yes, Moyo. What would the answer be? Watching the user operating the current system. Yes, Moyo. Pardon, I didn't get that. I didn't get that, Moyo. Can you repeat that, please?
So I'm not sure.
Okay. I'm going to call on Mulapo. Yes. Yes. Olami, please go ahead. Yes. Is she saying something? I can't hear her. Is she saying something? Yes, go ahead. Mulapo.
Marissa, please can you repeat what you said?
Yes, watching the user operating the current system. What will it be? Remember the slide. If there's something you need to remember the slide where there was a guy holding a cup of coffee and we're just watching that young guy typing something on the keyboard. So what do we call that? Okay. So I'm gonna call on Golibe. Yes, Golibe, what will it be? Watching the user operating the current system. Golibe. Okay, Kike has something to say. Yes, Kike, go ahead.
Is it observation?
It is observation.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so we have another one. They said forms sent out to all users to complete and return. So I have one hand raised. Yes, Shimile, go ahead.
So is it questionnaires or surveys?
Yes, it is questionnaires. Because the issue out surveys. Okay, questionnaires. All right, last question for the night. Right? After completing the analysis, the new system needs to be updated, needs to be designed rather. Okay. One item that needs to be designed is a file structure. Okay, I have two hands raised already. Identify 3 other items that would need to be designed. So each person gives me one. Okay, so I'm going to call those hands that are raised. Yes, Ethan, go ahead. The first one is what? Yes, Ethan. The first one is what? Yes, Sochi, go ahead. Yes, Sochi, go ahead.
So I'm not sure.
Okay, Chamaka, your hand is raised up. Go ahead. Yes, Chamaka, go ahead.
I think is I'm not too sure, but I think it's software program.
Okay. All right, Adinka, go ahead.
Input format.
God bless you. Input format. Input format. So now I think she's giving everybody a hint right now. Yes, Koide. Yes, Koide, go ahead.
I wanted to ask if you post this with the Google Classroom later.
Yeah, it will be posted. It will be posted. Okay, Iyanolua Balogun, give us the second one.
Validation routines.
Validation routine. Validation routine. And the last one for term 3, 2023, 2024 academic session. The last person to give us the answer, we have Joy Atakili. Go ahead. Yes, Joy, you have the mic. Yes, Joy, you have the mic.
Yes, Mr. Idru.
Yes. So the third one. She said something. I
don't know.
Okay. Okay. So Angela, help us.
Good afternoon, Mr.
Angela.
Idru. Good afternoon,
Yes.
Mr. Idru.
Okay,
How
go
are you
ahead.
doing?
I'm fine.
Invite 3 other items that will need to be. I invite 3 other items that will need to be designed. Oh, so I'm not sure the answer.
Okay. Benedict, can you speak now? Jade Sulu, can you help us? Jade Sulu, can you help us? Jade Sulu, can you help us? Okay. Chidelu, can you help us?
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead. I didn't get what Chidelu said. Yes, Chidelu, go ahead.
I'm not sure.
Maybe it's this. Biobelem, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead. The third one.
Oh, third one. Oh. So output format.
That is very correct. So Kiki, round it up for us. So Biobelem, let's say output format. So Kiki is going to close us for the 10. Yes, Kiki, go ahead. The last one.
What last one?
That's all. Is that all?
Yes, I think.
I feel there's one more.
Uh, yeah, I don't know.
Okay. David, how are you? Round it up for us.
Data structures.
Thank you very much. And with that, we have come to the end of year 9, 2023 to 2024 academic session ICT. Thank you very, very much.